Yep. Wait.
From the San Francisco Bay Area, live every Tuesday night, it's ESG Live with Chuck Temple and Ray Meir. Tonight, Chuck welcomes special guests, VOROMOTORS, and stay tuned for the review of the most comfortable scooter under $1,000. And now, the Professor X of electric scooters, Chuck Temple.
Hello and welcome, YouTubers. Today is episode 27 of Electric Scooter Guide Live. We are playing with the name. Anyway, we've got a lot of great info and stuff for you guys today. So first off, new intro. We just worked on that. I hope you like it. We've got the EMOVE Touring here for you today. This is like the most comfortable scooter under $1,000, and right now we have a 10% off coupon code that's good for 2 weeks that Joey from VOROMOTORS just gave to us like 20-30 minutes ago. It's only good for 2 weeks. I think I pasted that in the comments. I think I pinned that in the comments. Also, the premiere of this scooter's video review is going to be premiering right at 6 o'clock or in about 59 minutes from now. And then also we have Melvin and Francine from VOROMOTORS live. They're going to be with us via Skype, and we've got some questions for them, but also when they're on, go ahead and like type in your questions, and my producer will get me them, and we can like talk about stuff, you know, your own questions with them. So we've got 2 people from Voro on, and we got the touring, and we got the premiere coming out. Also, there's 4 big winter sales right now. The scooters that are in the US are probably the only ones that are get to the US for the next couple months because of this whole coronavirus thing that's becoming more and more of an issue. So, you know, it might be time to get it if you want a scooter before the spring. Although here in California, it's already spring, basically. We've also got Ray Meir's ride report for you today. He's going to be talking about the Nanorobot D5 Plus. And then finally, we've got this like pretty cool report that just came out studying how gender, ethnicity, and even the price of your car affects the willingness to stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk. So really interesting stuff about that. So the mission of the Electric Scooter Guide, us, is to help you find the perfect scooter. We do this show every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, rain or shine. Please join our community. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up right now, or I'm going to bug you again probably later. Follow us on Instagram. Link for all these things are at the bottom of the video description. And then finally, please join our Facebook group. If you have questions during the week, you're looking for a scooter, or you just want a community to chat with, we are quickly becoming the largest and most active community in the world, along with, of course, our Reddit, our subreddit. But the Facebook group, we're on there a couple times a day trying to help answer questions. So definitely go on there. If you do have questions right now, you can go into live chat, although the live chat just seems to blow. I can't follow this thing anymore. But hello, everybody that's in live chat. I know I'm kind of monitoring it, but I can't read it all. But I really appreciate everybody that tunes in at the beginning of these shows every single day. Y'all are our fans, and we love you, and you know, keep coming in, and give us suggestions too, because we do all this for you guys. So if you have suggestions or whatever, let me know via the Facebook group or comment on the videos. I see them all. So speaking of our Facebook group, every Friday we do Photo Friday on the Facebook group, and we have, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60 people that submit their favorite photo from that week. This previous week, Randy Gardner won for the 2nd time in a row. He has, you know, he's got this great scooter. He's saying that his son Dylan has put as many miles on it as he has, so that's kind of cool. I know Ray Meir's son, he's riding on a scooter, and I think he's racking up some miles on there too, and he's got a big giant helmet. So we'll have to get him on, as long as YouTube doesn't flag us for like kid content or whatever. Anyway, this picture was from Galveston Island, West Beach, Texas. Never been there. It looks pretty cool though. Okay, So let's see, the next releases for us are going to be the EMOVE Touring course. That's today, that's this week, that's our whole week. But of course, that giant 10% off coupon code is good for, I believe, 2 weeks. Then we've got, I think this coming week, we're going to do a big expose on what are the best accessories for you to buy for an electric scooter. Like when you buy a scooter, what are the like really essential things that you need? And then what are like the nice to have types of things? There's really cheap stuff that makes owning and riding an electric scooter just so much better. So we've got that coming out next week. Then we've got the INOKIM aux that sitting in a box right here. We're going to bust that one out. Then we've got the 08 coming up after that. We've got the Apollo Explorer. So Apollo scooters, they're in Canada. They're making a new line of scooters. So we've got one of their scooters that looks like they're coming in. We've got the MANTIS base and pro models that we're working on. And then finally, KAABO wants to send us another scooter, and we're happy to review their scooter. So they have the, it's like, I think it's the H1 Hummer or Q1 Hummer or whatever it is. So we've got that one coming out as well really soon. Okay. So let's talk about a couple more things. So the 2020 Annual ESG Electric Scooter Guide Survey. This is the largest, it's already actually the largest personal electric scooter. Take a breath. It's already the largest personal electric scooter survey in the world, and we're only going to run it to the end of the month. Please make your voice heard. We're just asking you for 4 questions. Rate the scooter. What scooter is it? Where did you buy it? And rate the seller. And based on that, we're going to publish the results so that like everybody can know what are the good scooters, what are the bad scooters. The page is that's all linked in the video description. Also, if you just go to our website, electric-scooter.guide, in the top bar, it'll like has a little thing that you can take the survey. It takes literally like 1 minute, and the email address on there, we are not selling them. We're not even keeping your email address. It's just for validation purposes, so we don't get people spamming the whole thing. Okay. So let's see here. So next we're going to talk about so we got 4 giant sales. The sales, usually there's winter sales. I mean, this industry is so new, right? But typically in the wintertime, sales fall. That didn't really happen this winter. The electric scooter market is still just growing. However, we have 4 different sellers that have given us kind of exclusive coupons or whatever that are still running right now. So I'll quickly mention those. The first one is the 09, which we reviewed, I think, 2 weeks ago now. It is my personal favorite scooter if I were to buy one for myself. So a scooter that's like 45 pounds or less, that's like my personal favorite. It's what I would buy. It's about $1,000. It's $1,099. But with the coupon code VDAY-ESG, you will get $100 off that price. So it's a $1,000 scooter. It's a $1,100 scooter. Get it for $1,000. I believe that coupon code is only for the month of February. So if you're interested in that, definitely get that. RevRides is who it's through, which they have basically them and VOROMOTORS. Those guys are like top notch for customer service. And also they've upgraded that scooter to the LG battery. Next up, we've got the Fluid FREERIDE winter sale is still going. The MANTIS Base and Pro, 2 of our favorite scooters, are on super discount. The Base being $150, the Pro being $250 off those scooters, which are kind of awesome. Also, the Wolf Warrior, which for $3,000, even $4,000 might be the best scooter. That scooter comes down to $24.99 after the $700 discount, but you have to wait, I think, until March to get it. But anyway, the coupon code for all this stuff is located in the video description. And then also Fluid FREERIDE just upped their warranty to 6 months across the board. They were doing 90 days, which just wasn't enough. So that's great for them. Next up, the GoTrax XR and XR Ultra. Really, the XR Ultra, although now the Xiaomi M365 is all up in price, of course, right after we did the review, it's like almost $500 now. So now the XR and XR Ultra are both probably the best scooters in their price range. The coupon code electric-scooter.guide50 will get you $50 off those. I think they're both good scooters, but if you're looking for like The really base model scooter, the one that's like $250 to $300, there's nothing that's better than that GoTrax XR, in my opinion, at $300. And with that coupon code, it's actually $250. So we did a review I think 2 weeks ago or last week, and they're both good scooters. You know, they're not, you know, they're $300 scooters, but they work. The build quality is actually really good. Check those out. And then finally, EMOVE, we have kind of a ridiculous discount with them, that something that they've never done before. They're upping so with the EMOVE Cruiser, right, which is like our all-time kind of like favorite commuter scooter, we got 50 miles of range, tested 50.3 miles of range on that scooter a bit ago. That scooter is like, we love it. That's 7% off right now. So it takes that, what, $1,400 and brings it to like 13 something. But also the Touring is 10% off, which is $900. So it goes down to like just over 800. That is good. That 10% off, I believe, is just good for 2 weeks. So if you're interested in getting it, the coupon code is located in the pinned comment. Also, they have the Mark 1 Fido and DYU scooters that are on their site. Those they're kind of like trying to release to the market, I think, and they're doing a little bit of a push for that. Those are also 10% off. So if you're interested in like a seated bicycle, they call them scooters, but they're like, I don't know. I don't know what to call them, but they're 10% off. And we're going to get one, I believe, here pretty soon, and we'll check it out. I've never ridden on anything like that before. Excited to try it out. Okay. Micromobility America is coming up April 22nd and 23rd in Richmond, California. I will be there. It's a great event. You meet everybody in the industry. It's where I made friends with the guys at Spin. I don't know, just talk to like thousands of people are there. Everybody's there. Also, Techcrunch Mobility is May 14th. That's in San Jose. Again, I'll be there. Links to both of these are in the video description. And if you're going to go, hit me up. And, you know, it'd be fun to just have like a little, like, see who's there and just hang out a little bit, have a beer or something. All right. So next up, we've got Ramir's weekly ride report. Go ahead and take it away, Ramir.
Hello, everybody. It's Ramir here, and I'm here with another ride report. I think I'm going to talk about the Nan Robot. The Nan Robot is actually the scooter that I ride during the review, so getting all the GoPro shots, I'm on a Nan Robot, and I just thought I'd talk about that one since that's the one I've been riding recently. It's a pretty good scooter. It goes fast. You know, it has its quirks where you have to figure out a few things and, you know, hack it a little bit. That's why it's our perfect hacker scooter. But once you get it down right, I love it. It's actually one of my top 5 scooters. They can fit us big guys real good, and it still goes fast up hills, and I'm just smashing it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I know it's short and sweet. Next week will be something special. See you guys later.
Awesome. Thanks, Ramir. I remember Ramir. That was his first big boy scooter. He was on the 9bot Max for, I think, a long time because that's a good scooter to start off on. Super reliable. Super not fast, but you know, a little bit safer. You go up to like the dual motor scooters, you know, we're not trying to injure everybody that works here, because there've already been some injuries at the ESG. So okay, next up we've got City Observatory. The website City Observatory has a pretty interesting relation between the number of miles driven in cities, right? So the people that are not on scooters or not walking or not on bikes, as you have more people in cars, you actually have you have more chain restaurants. So if you're like me and like I love going to like mom and pops and all that kind of stuff, the cities where more people drive, they actually have less mom and pop or smaller restaurants, stuff like that. I just thought that was kind of an interesting kind of tidbit just for city planning and just understanding what's going on. As much as I love going to Chipotle, you know, because they're quick, I also really love going to like my like little favorite spots, right? And those don't exist in places where it's all car driving. So anyway, just something kind of interesting there. Next up, we've got a report from the Journal of Transport and Health, which super interesting. They did a study about cars and what was the rate of yielding to people in the crosswalk, right? So when you're riding your scooter or you're walking across the sidewalk, you know, obviously you want to have cars stop for you so you don't crash, right? And so this particular study is really interesting because they looked at gender, ethnicity, and the cost of the car that was actually driving. So the most interesting thing, I think, is that actually the cost of the car is related to how willing they are to stop for people in the crosswalks. The more expensive the car, the less likely, or less likely they are to stop for people in the crosswalks. And in fact, for every $1,000 of increase in the price of the car that's driving, there's a 3% drop in the likelihood that they're going to stop for somebody in the crosswalk. So make your own conclusions from that. Also, they found that gender and ethnicity was a factor. In other words, I think overall around 28%, what was the rate that cars yielded. If you are a female or you're white, you're actually going to have a higher percentage chance of having the car stop for you. But if you're male or if you're not white, you have a less percentage of chance for people to yield for you, which is unfortunate, but that's the study that they did. All right. Well, let's talk about the EMOVE Touring. We're trying to get through all this stuff real quick. So the EMOVE Touring is a fantastic scooter. It is, the basics are, it's $899. After our 10% off coupon code, I believe that comes out to $810. We have a tested range on the scooter of 22 miles, a top speed of 24 miles per hour tested. It weighs 39 pounds. The power, and it has a motor that's a 500 watt motor, 750 watt max motor. Now, what I always appreciate about this scooter is that one of my favorite UFC fighters, Joanna Young Jacek, I randomly saw, I think Joey from VOROMOTORS, sent this over to me, but basically, we don't have audio. Okay, yeah, I'll keep talking. Yeah, Johanna, she needs to wear a helmet, but she's like a UFC fighter, so she could probably know how to fall, I'm assuming. Anyway, thought that was pretty cool. The scooter, of course, remember, is 10% off for 2 weeks, and we have the premiere coming up in 43 minutes. Okay, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the scooter, and then we're going to have VOROMOTORS on live via Skype so that you guys can ask questions to them, and I've got some questions for them as well. So, and then also, yeah. Okay, so moving over the basics. So I think the most salient thing about this scooter is that it's absolutely extremely comfortable. For the price range, there's differences to every scooter. But what, for me, makes a scooter comfortable is suspension, large pneumatic tires help, and then deck length, right? There's a lot of things, okay? But for me, those are the top three that I kind of look for as far as, there's the trigger style, things like that, right? But in this price range, for this kind of $800 to $900 price range, you're looking at, there's a lot of competition actually, and a lot of really good scooters in this price range. What makes this scooter different, in my estimation, is the comfort of the ride. So you have this super long deck. I think it's close to 22 inches long, which, we have our own internal database. There's nothing that comes close to this scooter at this price. You have to get to an eMove Cruiser, something like that. And actually a lot of more expensive scooters actually have smaller decks. So I can fit both of my feet, one behind the other, on the deck of this scooter. You can see it's turning right now. We've got a lot of stuff on it from all the riding we've done, but basically you can fit both of your feet, one behind the other, and your heel can even go back past the back of the deck right here. So hopefully there's some pictures. I know in our video review I talk a little bit about that. Until you ride a scooter, I mean, the people that ride scooters probably know, right? If you have a Xiaomi, as much as we love that scooter, small scooters, typically your feet are very cramped. And so it's not that comfortable. Your legs are together, you get sweaty in there, whatever. I mean, it's nice to have a wide base, especially also if you're having to brake fast or accelerate fast. You want to be able to move your weight back and forth. And so this scooter, definitely has the longest and widest base of any scooter around this price. But also, it is an upgraded Speedway Mini 4 Pro. And the Mini 4 Pro, there are some big differences. The most interesting, I think, of which is actually the front suspension. So as you can see, typically the front suspension is right here. But what you can see from probably some of these pictures is that you've got this kind of dual fork spring suspension on the scooter that really, really, really works well. When I'm riding on the scooter, it's like, I mean, it just does well over almost every terrain. Now the tires aren't like super big, they're 8 inches, and the front's pneumatic, the back is solid. So, you know, you do have damping effect from coming from that front, you know, pneumatic tire because it's air filled. The rear you don't. But if you're looking for a comfortable ride, that's the one to get. I know, like, for me personally, like I'm not like 25 anymore, and so when I was 25, I drove an Acura RSX. It was super fast, but it was like, you know, it kind of jerked you, and it was really loud. This scooter is more like, it feels more like a Lexus, right? It feels like, you know, maybe your base level Lexus, where it's just a smoother ride, and it's nice. Okay, I need to stop. I need to keep moving, or else we're never going to get our guests on. Performance was excellent. We got 22 miles of range. The rear drum brake stopped in 16.6 feet. And actually, the acceleration beat out every other scooter in the price category by a little or a lot. So we got a 4.5 second to 15 mile an hour time, and then it hit 20 miles per hour in 7.2 seconds. So it's quite fast, and actually the motor is also pretty quiet compared to others, which is cool. It is portable, right? Everything folds down. It folds to a package of 44 by 7 by 10 inches, so 44 inches long is kind of the big kind of number to look at. And of course the handlebars fold, the stem is telescoping, and you can pick it up because it locks in place. When you do have the stem folded, it locks in place so that you can actually just pick it up with one hand. And for me, under 45 pounds is what I'm trying to find for a scooter that that I would personally buy, because, you know, I'm not trying to lift scooters with two hands. I live upstairs, I work upstairs, I do a lot of stair climbing. I test all the big boy scooters, but, you know, they're heavier. And this one you can pick up with one hand. It's 39 pounds. For Voro Motors, also pretty legendary for their customer service. They do have a 6 months warranty on the scooter. Our anonymous email test, I think this is where they shine the most, is actually with email response times and getting email support. So, you know, we did an anonymous email test probably 6-7 months ago now, where they didn't know it was us. We made a fake email address and everything, and we messaged like 40 different sellers to see how long it would take for them to get back to us. They got back to us in 3 minutes flat. I think they were like the best or second best response time of any place that sells electric scooters. So that's really awesome of them. And generally the feedback for their company and the support is generally very positive. Also, they have service centers opening up around the country. That way, you know, if you do need service, you can go to a more local place rather than having to ship it in. Yeah, overall, I think it's the most comfortable scooter under $800. It has the fastest acceleration and hill climbing of anything at this price. It is very compact. It's a very refined scooter that, like, you know, all the details of the scooter we put in our video review. I'm not going to go through them now, but like the positioning, yeah, I'm not going to go through them now. I could go on forever. There are some cons to the scooter, like the kickstand started rattling a little bit for us. Also, it has cruise control, but there's no like audible beep when it enters cruise control. Of course, you can turn cruise control off, which we recommend for a beginner, but it's nice when you do have it. You just don't, there's no like notification when it kind of kicks in. And, you know, if you're in really wet conditions or you brake really hard, that rear solid tire isn't going to grip as well as a pneumatic tire. But on the plus side, you know, the rear tire won't get flats, which is 90% of flats happen on your rear tire. So that's what it is. Okay. I've talked a lot. Let's let other people talk. So I want to introduce Voro Motors. They should be in here. So we've got Melvin and Francine. Melvin is the manager of Voro Motors. He is in LA. They're actually both in LA right now. And then Francine, she's the lead mechanic for Voro Motors, as well as she was the former lead mechanic for Lime Scooters. So welcome Francine, and welcome Melvin.
Hey, how are you? How is everybody?
Good, 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 good. Yeah, thank you guys for coming on here. I really
Hey,
appreciate it.
Chuck.
Hey,
Hey,
Melvin,
everybody.
For sure.
how you guys doing?
Awesome show.
Uh,
Good, good. Everybody's doing good.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
awesome. Okay, okay, great. We've got I'm sure a lot of people with questions, but maybe I can just start off by asking a couple of questions myself. So first off is, can you tell me a little bit about just like what's going on with VOROMOTORS, like what's next for the company, that kind of stuff.
All right, so VOROMOTORS just set up their second office, our second office in LA. We are currently expanding our customer service staff in LA, focusing on how we provide our service to customers. So right now we are getting more and more demand in terms of emails, chats, calls. One of our staff named Joey, he replies about close to 100 emails per day.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
we are getting more staff to handle the emails, the chats, and the calls just in LA itself.
Wow, 100 a day.
So that's a goal. Yep.
So I was wondering about Joey, right? Like Joey is the guy that always answers my my emails to him. He converses. He's the one that gave us this giant 10% off, coupon on the touring that's good for the next 2 weeks. But I've never talked to him, and I've never seen him. Like, is he a real person?
Yes, Joey is a real person. So he's moving to LA. Maybe next time on your live show, we can bring him on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Cool. Okay, so I've got some more questions, but we already have a ton of questions from the audience. So maybe I'll start kind of like going through those. Douglas Call is asking, how comfortable was, this might be a question for me. So, okay. How comfortable was the EMOVE when compared with the 09? Have you guys ridden any of the Zero scooters to be able to help answer this question?
I have not.
Okay, I'll quickly.
Yeah.
Have you, Melvin? Sorry.
Yep. I wrote the 09.
Yeah.
So if you are comparing the suspension, both of them have front and back suspension, but EMOVE Touring has the front suspension, and it feels like there's more torque in the Touring, and there's added suspension at the front. 09 has a lower deck, so when you go fast on the 09, it feels much faster.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's a different type of suspension. The 09 is obviously a really great scooter and has a lot of amazing features. It's also a little bit more expensive, but I would actually say that suspension on the Touring is a more comfortable suspension personally. And I just rode the 09, and we all know how much I love the 09. It's got 2 brakes, it's got a great motor, it's got those lights that light up at night and everything else. But the suspension on this, I believe, is more comfortable. Okay, next question is from D Sin. Interesting name. Would you please ask them if there is any type of customs cost when shipping to Canada?
Yes, there's custom cost shipping to Canada. I believe it's not much, but shipping to Canada is about 4 to 5 days.
4 to 5 days.
Yep.
Okay. And then what did you say? Did you say there was do you know the cost on that?
It depends what you buy. It goes by percentage. So if you buy
Okay.
the EMOVE Cruiser, the tax is going to be higher. But if you buy the EMOVE Touring, the tax is going to be lower.
Okay. Do you have any kind of like estimation on how much the cost is for that?
We don't have the exact, but if he likes, he can email us. We can
Okay.
find out the exact cost for him.
Just email, and you'll get Joey to email you back in 3 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. I've got another question here. We're getting tons of questions, so a lot of people are obviously interested in the scooter. Noah Lacey's asking, what is the benefit of a trigger throttle versus a thumb throttle? And and they wrote at Melvin, so maybe this is a question for you, Melvin. What would you say is the benefit of trigger versus thumb throttles?
Okay, so on the EMOVE Cruiser, it's a long-range electric scooter. If you are going to ride 2-3 hours, on a trigger throttle, your finger might feel a little numb. It does not happen to everyone, but
Yeah.
on a thumb throttle, it's going to feel much more comfortable. But the eMove Cruiser has a cruise control function. So you do not have to press the finger on the throttle all the time. So you can just
Yeah.
press it for 7 seconds and your cruiser will go on automation.
Perfect. Okay. That's awesome. Actually, I think the Touring has cruise control as well.
Correct.
And you can, and I believe you can turn them both on and off in there. And then also just, you know, my perspective is, you know, when you're on a really beefy scooter that has like a dual motor scooter that has a trigger throttle, you're actually keeping your finger outstretched further because you don't need, you know, you get so much power right away versus like, you know, say the eMove Touring, right? It's a 500 watt motor. So actually, because I'm maxing it out, I actually have my finger less extended and more curled in, which actually saves my finger, believe it or not. So when I ride the really like big beefy ones, it is actually harder for me with the trigger throttle than it is with a scooter that's like a maybe 500 or 600 watt scooter, because at least my fingers can be kind of closer all together. Yeah, and I think, you know, speaking of the thumb and trigger throttles, I think Joey mentioned, I don't know if you know about this or not, but Joey mentioned something about maybe working on a thumb throttle application for the Cruiser, I think. Do you know about that at all? Or I think he mentioned he didn't want to give out a date or anything, but you know.
Yes. Okay, so we already have the thumb throttles made. It's already in mass production. Will be released in about 2 to 3 weeks' time. It will be offered as an aftermarket solution. Highly likely we can use it on the eMove Touring.
Okay, so it'll be something that when you buy the scooter, could you order it like before you get it, or is it something that you would purchase and then it would ship to you and then you do the mod yourself?
So you can buy it as a, after you buy the scooter, you can buy the throttle. So it's a plug and play model,
Yeah.
module. So nothing difficult, you just plug and play.
Okay, so it's something that you would bring home and you could just basically pop the old one out, unscrew it, and pop the new one in.
Correct.
Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've seen on the new Cruiser for sure. It's great. You've got the little kind of quick release cords on there, which makes things like that nice and easy. Cool. We've got more questions coming if that's cool with you guys. James.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, James Flores at VOROMOTORS says, is there potential for graphene batteries to be implemented in future products like the eMove Cruiser?
I think graphene batteries are really new. It's a really new technology. So we'll see.
Okay, nothing yet. I haven't heard of any.
Yeah, nothing yet.
I haven't heard of anybody using graphene batteries yet in scooters at least.
Correct.
Okay. TS Domain is asking, is there an IP67 rating? I'm assuming this is a question for the Touring, but we can answer it for both the Cruiser and the Touring if you'd like.
Okay, so on the Touring, there's no IP67 rating. So it's it can go under light rain. We use it under light rain as well. We don't suggest you using under heavy rain. So if there's heavy rain, bring the Touring inside. But most importantly is the safety. The Touring has 8-inch wheels, which is really small. You can get into accident easily.
Okay. And the Cruiser, I believe, is IP67 rated. Is that right?
Correct.
Great. Okay. And I've ridden, I think we have a video where I sprayed the eMove Cruiser with a garden hose as hard as I could, and we still use that scooter all the time. So it definitely holds up to the rain. Okay. Super Duper is asking, Super Duper I know comes here every week. He or she is asking a question. Do you ship to England? To England. Do you ship to England?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. Do you have any local distributors there, or would it be shipping from Would they buy it from VOROMOTORS.com? How would that work? How would they get a scooter if they're in England?
Okay, they can buy it directly from VOROMOTORS.com, and we can ship it directly to them.
Okay, perfect. Also, just speaking of that, I know Vorel Motors just added a new dealer in Australia, correct?
Correct.
And I think what Joey told me was that if you're in Australia, you can actually just buy it straight up off of the Vorel Motor site, and then you just put in your Australia address, and boom, you get a local shipping, which is either inexpensive or free. I'm not sure which one. What are the, do you have a list of the total countries? I think actually it's on your site. I was looking at it the other day, but where are all the places that in the world that someone can get a local, Vorel Motors type of reseller?
So we are still in the process of setting up dealerships around the world. It's not an easy feat. We have a UK dealer. There's quite a few places that they can check out, but definitely on our website you can find out more details.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna paste it right here. And all these places, I believe you can just still order off of the Vorel Motors website. That way you can still get the 10% or the 7% off discount, I think.
Yep, so for these 2 weeks, there will be a 10% discount, especially for ESG viewers.
Yeah, great. I'm
for
sure
the touring.
I'm sure
Yep.
we appreciate. Yeah, I'm sure everybody appreciates that. That's awesome. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, just for the EMOVE Touring and the seated scooters.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, another question. I think this one is for Francine. Brandon Smith is asking, what failures do you see the most on scooter parts?
The only real failure I probably would say I see the most is on the volt meter.
Okay.
And I think it's more so because it's a sensitive piece. But other than that, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of failures happening. We had a really pretty good track record of not getting returns. I mean, the scooters are just a great product. They're doing it. I mean, they just are a great product.
Nice.
So,
how would you say Go ahead.
Sorry about that. The touring, I haven't really seen anything.
Yeah, great. I actually was curious, how coming from Lime, what do you see as kind of the major differences between shared scooters and these kind of personal scooters from the repair side of things?
So the difference to me would be that the shared scooters need much more work, much more intensive work, and much more work in general. The scooters are not as well built, and I'm sure that's because they have to do a mass production on them so that they're able to service every market they're in. So that doesn't always help. Mm-hmm. These scooters are really, I mean, they've done a really good job at having a great QC process in the factory, and then once the scooters get here, we do another QC before we send it to the customer. And even when I do QCs, I'm not finding anything really rarely. Rarely am I tweaking something on a scooter before it gets sent to a customer. So it's just a really great QC process. It's just a really well-built piece of equipment. And I just think that when you see shared scooters, it's a lot of people use those scooters. And I mean, everybody here is a scooter person, so you're very well aware of how people treat the Lime, the Bird, the Lyft scooters out in the street. I mean, there's Instagram sites that are dedicated to the destruction of these scooters. So, and then we have to fix those scooters, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of man hours, and a lot of parts usage. So those would be the differences, really. Because if you pay for a scooter, you take care of it. Yeah.
Last question. We're off topic now, but what's the worst damage or worst looking scooter that you ever saw on for Lime? What happened to the scooter? The worst one you ever saw?
The worst one I saw was basically the deck cracked in half, the neck broke in half, all the handlebars, everything smashed, and then it was painted. So I mean, I've seen some pretty bad scooters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. David Vosk, who's one of our friends, He's asking, at Vorel, when is the thumb throttle releasing for the EMOVE Touring? Another question about the thumb throttle, but I think Melvin, you said a couple weeks, but any other info on that?
Okay, a couple of weeks for the cruiser for sure.
A couple weeks for the
cruiser. For the touring, we are still working on it.
Oh, okay. So there's no date for a thumb throttle for the touring, particularly.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that that's going to happen, or is that not something that, is on the horizon?
It can happen. We are working on it.
You are working on it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, let us know. A lot of our viewers really, there's a lot of controversy over thumb versus trigger throttles and everything. So we'd love to know when you get any updates on that stuff. Okay. Another question. We just got so many questions here. So Lawrence Louis is asking, how would you rate the hybrid hydraulic brakes compared to regular mechanical disc brakes on the cruiser?
Okay, so cruiser is actually high speed. If you try using an electric scooter that can go beyond 25 miles per hour, standing on it, it's very fast. So with a fast scooter like that, you need a stronger braking power. So with a hybrid hydraulic brake, you have better control over your speed compared to a mechanical disc brake.
Okay, got it. Yeah, easy to kind of you can almost do it with one finger, on those hydraulics. Awesome. What is the next? So I have a question. So what a lot of people have asked for the EMOVE Cruiser with 2 motors, right? They want to know what's next for VOROMOTORS. Like, what's the next thing that you guys are working on? What's the next one that's going to come out? Because we've had these 2 scooters for quite some time now, and of course the EMOVE Cruiser has been updated, and I'm sure this one's been updated as well. But do you have anything on the horizon? Any new scooters that are coming up?
We have something that we are working on from scratch. So it will look nothing like the cruiser. It will not be a cruiser 2020 version. Something built from scratch, more powerful than a cruiser, and it has dual motors.
So you're making a dual motor scooter from scratch. Of course, I want to fish for more information from you guys. Does it have a seat?
You can add a seat.
Is it?
But it will look nothing like the cruiser.
Is it over? Is it more? Is it higher than 70 pounds?
No, it's lighter than 70 pounds.
Is it lighter than the EMOVE Cruiser now?
Potentially.
Okay. Is it okay? Any other info you can give me? I can ask 20 questions all day long here, but this is a favorite part of my job. Well, I guess we'll have to wait. When should we get more information on the scooter?
Okay, once we have something that is ready for the market to see, you guys will definitely be one of the first few.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, we got a question from Nordium. Nordium's asking, what city is your main factory located in? What part of China?
Okay, the city is called Zhejiang. Not sure that
Is it?
some of the viewers here might know. We can spell it out.
Is it close to any major city? Is it close to like Shenzhen or?
Hangzhou. That's the one.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Good enough. Okay, John CA. Another question. John CA is asking. Well, it says hi Chuck, but we can all answer it. Hi Chuck. Since the Cruiser is a clone of a Chinese model, what makes your product different? So I think what they're asking is like, the Cruiser is basically kind of like a remake of the Speedway 4, correct? Or a
Okay, so
upgrade.
the interesting thing about the Cruiser is that so the original design of the Cruiser, the Speedway 4, or 10 other brands on the same model. They basically copied the design of INOKIM, right? We are not the original ones that make this chassis. INOKIM was the original, and there are these two brothers that made the Speedway model and the old Cruiser. So they are actually twin brothers. They copied the INOKIM design, and they went their own ways. One of the brothers went to do Speedway, and the other is currently our partner making the EMOVE products.
Okay. So you said they're twin brothers?
Yes, twin brothers.
So the twin brothers were separated at Scooter.
Right.
And one of them one of them started Speedway, and the other one is a co-founder of VOROMOTORS?
Yes, correct.
Interesting. Is it the same factory producing both scooters, or different factories?
Different factory.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
And I know, we've done a lot of work on the differences between like the EMOVE Cruiser 2018, 2019, and the differences between Speedway 4. But what would you say are the main differences between the Cruiser and the closest competitor, I guess, would be the Speedway 4?
Okay, the main difference, it comes down to how we QC the products. We have our own people, Singaporeans and Americans, in the factory itself, quality control. So it's not all Chinese. So they are there physically doing the QC, making sure that things are made correctly. Sometimes things that don't go through proper QC, maybe the throttle is not fit nicely, the screws are not installed correctly. So these kind of small things, we have people there looking after all this, making sure that every single unit that goes out of the factory is perfect.
Okay. Is the Speedway 4 like IP67? Does it have the tubeless pneumatic tires? Does it have the semi-hydraulic brakes? Does it have the new kind of voltmeter keyed entry? Does it have those things?
No, it does not. I believe it does not.
Yeah, I don't believe it does, but I'm not a Speedway expert. We haven't done the review on that scooter yet, but those are some of the other differences that I know of it, as well. Great. Okay, man, we have like more questions coming in than I've ever seen before. James Flores is asking, at Melvin, is there a future product with dual motors that would get the same range as the EMOVE Cruiser, but have more kick in terms of performance?
There will be a new model, but it's not EMOVE Cruiser.
Will it have the same range, do you think? I mean, 50 miles. We tested the EMOVE Cruiser at 50.3 miles, no joke. It's a lot. It's the furthest scooter we've ever tested. I do those tests. I do it all in one day. It's not my favorite thing to do, 50 miles straight. Is it? Right. But it does go 50 miles, actually. The new one, what's the, when you're speccing this thing out and all this stuff, what are you trying to go for in terms of either battery watt hours or, total range? Like, what's the purpose? Like, what are you trying to go for there?
So when we come out with things like that, if the batteries are too big, example, the U4, if it's too big, the overall weight of the scooter will be very heavy. It will be very close to a motorcycle. Right, so it's not an electric scooter anymore. But when we import these things, they are classified as motorcycles. And if we make it too heavy, there's really no point having an electric scooter. You might as well buy a Vespa or a motorcycle. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Robert Johnson is asking another question about this new model that you guys are mentioning. So Robert Johnson asks, dual motor definitely piques my interest. What's the target market for this new model? Speed, performance, or range commuting? So he's trying to figure out who you guys are going after for this new scooter. What type of customer?
Okay, I thought we are talking about the EMOVE Touring.
I guess not. Everybody wants to know about the new scooter. What's that?
I think you put it up to. I think you put it up to him, Chuck. I think you put it up to him.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You know, people ask what they ask. Yeah, I mean, we can cut all the questions about the new scooter, but
we will see on the target segment. The target market will be very specific, but at the end of the day, we are really focused on safety. So when you want to have an electric scooter that can go fast, at the same time, you really need to focus on safety. The stem cannot break. You really need to be very careful on how we select the materials. So we do not want to see our customers getting injured. When you go fast, there's really a lot of concerns that's involved.
I understand. Yeah, everything needs to be stronger materials. Yep. You can't have things breaking, snapping while you're riding or coming loose, things like that, right?
Yep.
Correct. We do not want to release a subpar product.
That is good to hear. That is very good to hear, especially just, you know, looking at the whole market right now. There's always different, you know, things going on. So, okay. We got another question from D-Sin. D-Sin, he or she's saying it's my initials. So, okay. Do they have any plans to make changes to the front fender of the EMOVE Cruiser? And also, have they heard of similar front fender issues with the touring model? So I think they're referring to the front fender, which some people that are heavier, the front fender will sometimes rub that front tire. He or she is asking, what are the plans, or kind of like what's the feedback on that front fender?
Okay, so for the Cruiser, we have an aftermarket solution. It's in prototype right now, but it will be ready very, very soon.
Okay.
For the Touring, there's no fender issues.
Yeah.
Because the Cruiser, we are using a wider tire. The Touring, the fender is perfect for the tire.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah. When I've ridden the Touring, the front fender is perfect. We actually, you know, took off our front fender and actually it works fine. I guess and even I rode in the rain and I didn't really get splashed. So like, I guess the fender would help with if you're riding a lot in the rain, but we haven't had any issues and we just took off the front fender pretty easily. So anyway, okay. Let's see here. There's some questions. You know what? Let me answer. Some of these questions are just about other scooters or for me or whatever. I want to thank you both for coming on to the our show tonight. Super appreciate it. I know it's like a lot of work to get the video signal and the audio and everything, and your time is very valuable, and so I appreciate it. I know all the people that have asked you questions and that you guys are being super honest with these answers. They all appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, unbelievable job you guys did tonight answering questions for people. And we hope to have you back, especially when there's this new dual motor scooter that everybody's talking about. So.
All right, thank you for having us, Chuck.
Yeah, sure.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
awesome.
We really appreciate all the questions. And if you have more questions, guys, feel free to call us.
Yep.
We have literally 3%, 4% right now on the phone answering, picking up phone calls. Email us on our website live chat. We'll be happy to answer all your questions. Yep. Thank you for having us, Chuck.
And also, before you guys go, make sure, hopefully you guys can stay on for the premiere of the EMOVE Touring, which is coming up at 6. Maybe you guys can stay on and like answer people's questions via live chat there and on here too. But yes, thank you very much, you guys, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, Chuck.
Awesome.
Okay,
thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, great. Yeah, that was a fantastic interview. They're really forthcoming. It's nice to really have somebody that understands the mechanical side of things, Francine, although Melvin seemed to really understand the whole business, which is really nice. And from what the questions that we're kind of getting here, it seems like a lot of people have a lot of questions about the Cruiser, and the Touring, you know, doesn't get a lot of as much fanfare and whatnot. So, you know, I'll answer a couple more questions about the Cruiser that were directed at me. And thank you guys very much for asking really good questions. These are awesome questions. So James Flores is asking, at Chuck, is the EMOVE Cruiser good for carving? And also, what's the best scooter for carving in your opinion? So first I'm going to say what carving is, because people have asked in previous shows. Carving is when you can like shift your weight and go back and forth and really like turn hard, basically. It's just like really sharp turns. I know a lot of our videos, I do that, and I like to do that to test out scooters. Basically, right, to be able to carve, now the Cruiser is not a great scooter for carving because, and maybe I don't know why, it's got bigger tires, right? It's got these 10-inch tires, and they're pretty wide, right? The wider the tire, I think the less good it is for turning. You can look at like the Mercane wide wheel or like the 08, which have the widest tires of all, but also the most interesting. They don't turn like you would expect them to turn. You have to almost lean to your turn, right? So the more like up and down shape the tire is, the more nimble. Also, you know, if the tire is shaped like more elongated like this, like I guess the boosted rev, the Mantis, just looking at all the scooters we have right here, those are all, you know, kind of, they go down narrow, but then they go wide again. Those are really good for carving. So you can carve on the Cruiser. It's not meant for that. You know, I think the Cruiser is meant to last forever, not have issues, go fast enough, go long enough, and be super comfortable. It's just like this perfect scooter. That's why they sell so many of those darn Cruisers, because it's just kind of like a perfect all-around scooter. It's not fast though, right? It's not, you know, the acceleration I think was like 4.3 seconds, something like that, to 15 miles an hour, which is faster than the Touring, but it's not like any kind of a dual motor scooter. But when you have one motor, right, you sip less juice, and that's why that scooter has such long range. It also has turn signals. It's got great suspension. You know, just a great all-around scooter. Let's talk about, so Smart and Final is asking, is the scooter worth looking into buying, the Touring? So Smart and Final. So when I think about the scooter, right, you know, some people look at scooters based on price. Some people look at them based on how much they weigh. Some people look at them based on how fast they want to go, things like that. There's a lot of scooters in this like 8 to 9, 7, maybe even 720, right? Like the kind of lower end Fluid FREERIDE Horizon is probably the cheapest of the bunch, if I'm not mistaken. You have the 08, you have the triple wheel Swift, you have this scooter, and even when the 9bot Max is not on sale, you have that one. Now, those scooters actually look really similar, right? The 08, they're all kind of Titan T8 variants. 08, the original, triple wheel Swift, which has that extra brake on it, right? And then the Horizon, which is basically very similar to the 08. This is actually a different type of scooter. It's not a variant of those. It's not the same. It's a different kind of family of scooter. You know, we should make a big chart breakdown. And so those scooters are really good. They have long range. They seem the same. This one here will have a little better acceleration, a little bit more quiet motor, and the deck length is kind of the biggest, you know, difference. You know, those are all good scooters. They're kind of neck and neck. If you want something that's really comfortable, you know, I would say this one is the most comfortable. If you want the best stopping power, then the Turbo Wheel Swift. I think we have the Horizon with the longest range at 26 miles of range or so. So, I mean, there's different reasons to get different ones, and you can check our comparison chart for some of that stuff. Okay, D-Sin is asking, at Chuck, can you get us a sweet discount for the Cruiser? So we have a 7% discount right now. It's just our website, electric-scooter.guide. Throw that in. You'll get that $13.99 price down to like $13.20 or whatever 7% off of $1,400 is. You know, I've you know, of course, I'm always trying to get the biggest discounts for you guys. That's the biggest one I got, and I think it's worth it. You know, if I bug Joey 100 times, maybe he'll get me 10% off, like on a future show or something like that. But you know, an extra 3% from $1,400 is 3 times 14, 28 plus 4, you know, it's $42. You know, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait on that. You know, I think the 7% off is pretty good. You know, but I appreciate the question. All right, we got 1 minute left. I want to shoot everybody over to the premiere of the EMOVE Touring. We have a new editor. His name is Richard. Next week, maybe we'll like shine the camera on him or whatever. So now we have Ray Mir, who's like our producer and master editor, videographer. And we have Richard, the new guy. And so let's all make sure to haze him next week when he'll be on. But he edited this video. I think he did a great job. Let us know what y'all think. It's starting right now. Check the link, the video description or the comment for that. I'm going to cut the feed now, and I'm going to jump right into the live chat on the premiere. So y'all just follow me over there. It's good to see everybody. Ride safe. Don't forget to wear your helmet. We'll see you next week, everybody.